Okay, we're live. Hey there. Hey there, beautiful humans. Welcome to today's topic about why taking 100% responsibility for your path, for your purpose, sometimes feels really heavy and what you can do about it so that you can thrive and flourish in your sacred calling and really create, that juicy impact and income and happiness that you are here to create in the world. If this is the first time that we are meeting, my name is Lindsay. I am a confidence and follow through manifesting mentor for highly sensitive, empathic humans who are super ambitious and have lots of creativity. And what I help people like you do is get your head clear in a clear vision, your soul sparked on fire, and your feet on the ground to make it happen in the real world. Because let's be honest, as highly sensitive people, as empaths, as creatives, sometimes we're a lot up here in our dreams, big visions, and we struggle to actually, put our hands to work in the real world, right? And make those things into real live creations, such as businesses, your next unique offer, maybe a healing service, or maybe a career that is in a structured organization, but you tweak the position exactly how will serve that organization best. Those are the types of things I love to help highly sensitive people like you do. So if any of those have been on your mind, have felt like a sacred calling to you, but you felt the fear come up and you felt hesitation come up, then you are in the right place today, because I'm going to share with you what it means to take 100% responsibility for your purpose, for your calling, and some tips to help you lighten that up so that it doesn't seem so scary. It doesn't sit on your shoulders so heavily. So let me know if you're here, say hi, and let me know what you are up to in the world. Hey there, Roxanne. Nice to see you. And if you're watching this on replay, definitely do hashtag replay. But it's really helpful if you're hopping on live to drop a little comment and let me know what you're up to in the world and what you feel if you know, not everybody knows right now. If you feel what your calling is, what your purpose is. And a lot of people, even, in the pre-stages of fully defining this still applies to you. Okay. If you don't know what your calling is or your purpose or, the next, what you're going to be creating for the next 10 years, that's okay. Because taking responsibility at this stage of the game is also really important for you. So what does it mean? Okay. Like, what does it mean to take 100% responsibility? Well, I want to share a little story about this from my life. And where I was a number of years ago was in a lot of flux. I had left my career, I'd started a business, and it was going really well, but something was missing from it. And I decided to close that business. And I had no idea what I was kind of really meant to be doing in the world, right? And so I was in a lot of flux of like, what am I here for? Why am I here? What am I passionate about? What makes me happy? What am I good at? All those questions, right? And I actually ended up in a network marketing company for a while. And it was a really, really great experience. And I know a lot of people, have maybe come into contact with network marketing and you may have really strong opinions about that field, about whether it's really bad or it's really good. But I happen to have a really great experience. And the personal development in the company I was in was phenomenal. And I attended this seminar one day where the speaker on stage was saying, you know what? It's really important for you to take a vow of 100% responsibility, which means you are 100% responsible for everything in your life and not in your life. Now, for me at that stage of the game, hearing those words, they hit me like a brick. And I didn't agree with them. I had full out resistance right away. But a part of me was also like, what does that really mean? A part of me was actually willing to integrate that, absorb it, and wrestle with myself about what that really meant. What would it mean if I took that vow that I am 100% responsible for everything in my life and not in my life. What would that mean that I would have to do to call out of myself, to show up every day, to create and get the things that I wanted, to make the things that I wanted happen? What would it mean if I chose to show up every day and be responsible for my emotions and how I felt and how I was feeling? Because for me at that point, it meant, you know what? I'm responsible for feeling confused. I'm responsible for feeling terrified about, I don't know what my next step is. Let me know if you feel that way, because it's totally natural. But as I started to think about that, I realized, why would I choose to feel that way when I can choose to feel another way? Maybe I don't have to feel terrified. Maybe if I'm responsible for how I feel and how I look at, my life and where I am right now, it means I get to choose a different way to feel and a different way to look at this. So it really started to go deep, those words. You are 100% responsible for everything in your life and not in your life. And that includes emotions and thoughts, ideas, and everything, right? So when it comes to figuring out our purpose, right, part of it is being 100% responsible for the things we call into our life to help us clarify. And whether we're depending, on other people to tell us what we think it should be, or whether we're looking towards being responsible enough to listen inwards to our own inner guidance, is super, super important. We're 100% responsible for listening to our own inner guidance, and there is no one out there that can make you listen to your intuition. If you are denying your intuition, there is no one out there that can make you listen to it. You are 100% responsible for listening and for trusting that inner guidance. So I see a few of you are in the process of figuring out what your purpose is. And that may not become clear right away, because have you taken 100% responsibility right now yet for turning inward in all the ways that you can to listen to that intuition and to trust that intuition and to follow the actions that intuition is saying you need to take next? Now, if you were here yesterday, I was talking about the 4 pillars to momentum, and one of those pillars is trust. And responsibility works into this, right? There's no one else out there that can make us trust ourselves. We have to be 100% responsible that is up to us. And to look for the tools and the mentors that can help us cultivate that trust in ourselves, rather than looking at mentors and going, oh, I'm going to follow their system. But when I'm not following their system, I still have no trust in myself, right? You want to look for those mentors that will help you build that trust making within yourself. So that's just a little tip. The other thing, right, about taking responsibility, okay, let's get into why it feels heavy. Why does it feel heavy when everything is up to us, right? Or why does the word responsibility and taking responsibility feel heavy? Well, it's this. It's because your version of responsibility includes one or both of these qualities. Okay, now listen. Your version of responsibility includes one or both of these qualities. And those qualities are either control or self-blame. If your version of responsibility, of what taking responsibility means, includes control and self-blame, then taking responsibility is going to feel heavy. Because taking responsibility does not mean controlling for everything, does not mean that you are in control of everything. And it is also not a reason to self-blame yourself when things go wrong or they don't go exactly, the way you anticipated, or, something happens and then you choose to say, well, that was my fault. That was my fault. Okay, so this is really important, you guys. That is not a divine sense of responsibility. That is a human, a human ego-based version of responsibility when it includes control and it includes self-blame. Now, a divine sense of responsibility is about you being the designer, right? You being the designer and you being the co-creator. That your responsibility is about being a vessel of creation, and a vessel of adaptability. And for you to have the design of how you're going to feel when situations happen, and to design your feelings and design your responses and be in responsible ownership of your responses to things, that is what taking responsibility means. When we can be in the seat of our responses, then we're able to move through life really deciding how we're going to be, right? How we're going to be. So no matter what happens, no matter what we create, no matter what we go through, as long as we design our way to be okay with it all, then we are really in responsible ownership of the vessel and the calling that we are called to show up for. Otherwise, we're kind of like not being responsible. We're putting that off. We're not really operating from a place of sovereignty. So I hope that some of this sparks in you some questions to go to bed tonight wondering, right? How can you take responsibility in a way that doesn't involve trying to control for everything, right? And that makes you all anxious when you're trying to control for every situation, every outcome, versus responding and being in ownership of your responses. And then how can you not self-blame, right? What are one of the best ways to get rid of self-blame? Is to introduce more self-love, which is one of my favorite things to mentor people on, is self-love. And are you willing to say, yes, I'm going to take 100% responsibility for what is in my life and not in my life, from a place of, from a place of acceptance. And when you can do this from acceptance, and especially with this other divine way of looking at responsibility, you'll notice like how much lighter it actually feels. So let me know if you guys have any questions about this. And just understand that we're all in this beautiful growth process together, right? The levels and the shifts and the integrations that you get to enjoy are also up to you. They're up to you to really turn inward to your intuition, reflect inward to what your inner wisdom has to say about it, and receive that information and move forward. So I hope this has been helpful. And I'm so happy to be here with you. This is sort of the second workshop that I'm doing, part of the Beyond Maybe to Manifested series. We're having a lot of fun here this month. So be sure to come back tomorrow. I'm going to have another training about finances. And interesting, isn't it? How we just talked about responsibility today, and tomorrow we're going to talk about finances. They go together. Trust, responsibility, finances, they all go together. And so there's also a lot of other exciting things coming to the Bravery Lab, coming to 5 sites in the next few weeks. So be sure to stay tuned. And if anything is really hitting home for you today and you want to pick up that topic and go deeper with it, or you're really feeling called to step up into a bigger game, like you want to take 100% responsibility right now for your business or for your emotional state, for your soul state, then be sure to connect with me in an insight to action call. This is where we actually get to, get on Zoom face to face, have a conversation, figure out where you are and where you want to go next. So those calls are free. I'll drop a link to book one and let's get you sorted out and on your way. It's been lovely to be with you today, and I'll see you guys again soon tomorrow. Bye.